Pregame.com.
Last week you faded the Dolphins in week 1, and now you're going to be fading them for the whole season? This is Brad Powers in the Pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip. And yes, the NFL regular season still more than 3 months away, but season win totals now have been out for nearly a month. And Fez, you continue to find some value. Talk to me about these Miami Dolphins and why you might not like them this year.
Yeah, I'm going under 7.5 wins. All about Miami being overrated based upon last year's record where they went 10-6. I got to give the odds makers quite a bit of credit here. They looked at that record and said, you know what? We're not buying into it. We see what Fez sees. And they lowered it, but they felt like they couldn't lower it beyond 7.5. That's as low as they could go. And they said at 7.5. I still think there's value at 7.5. Last year, this team went 8-2 in games that were decided by one touchdown or less. If those had broken out 50-50, they'd be right back at 7-9, 8-8, and that's historically where they've been. They won 8 and 6 games the 3 years before, the breakout year to 10 wins. I've seen this before. A team that doesn't have that much talent that goes up tends to go back down for the regression. Miami going to certainly last year massively overrated.
Now, going over their wins from last year and their entire schedule, it's a Miami team that feasted upon a lot of weak opponents and really only had one signature win. It came against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and even that signature win, asterisk. Big Ben comes back from injury too early, wasn't 100%, gets injured in that game, goes out for a series, comes back, he's not himself, it's hot, it's humid, Ajayi runs for 200-plus yards. The game just got away from Tomlin and Pittsburgh, and that's the only game that they arguably beat a good team. They beat the Bills twice by 3 points. They win a game in overtime, I think, against Cleveland. They really did not have any other signature wins.
Now, I'm going to push back a little bit here. There's got to be some positives about this Miami Dolphins team. I mean, Adam Gase, in my opinion, did a wonderful job last year. And this was a team that managed 10 wins a year ago, despite the fact that they were shuffling around and were dealing with a lot of injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah, and a big question. I do like Gase. If the O-line can be better, if Pouncey can stay healthy, it's going to be a better team. Now, that's a big if. I don't know if that necessarily is going to happen, but this is the rare case where a team can actually be a little bit better this year and still have a much worse record.
Now, talk to me. This is the first time that you and I have been able to talk after the rule change has been announced. Overtime, shorten it up from 15 to 10 minutes. How is that impacting on how you're betting the season win totals?
And remember, a few years back behind that, they changed the rules in overtime. So if you kick a field goal, the game doesn't end. I get to go down and kick a field goal back. And now that may well result in a tie. We're probably going to get 3 or 4 ties over the course of this season. We always talk about how the odds makers know that the public loves betting overs. If you add up all the wins, normalize them for the VIG, it sums up to like 8.1, even 8.2 at some shops. It should sum up and average to 8. Well, now it should average to 7.9 because of those expectation of 3 or 4 ties. A tie doesn't count as half a win. It counts as no wins. And because of that, I think we're going to see more and more value on unders. Very hard to find value on overs.
All right, talk to me about your second main handicap.
And it's a huge handicap. The schedule is so much more difficult this year than last year. We talked about no signature wins last year. Let's take a look at their non-division schedule. I know you can say in the division, hey, the Bills no good, the Jets no good. Well, they beat those teams last year, and I still think they're going to lose twice in New England, so 3-3 in division. Last year, they went ahead and got to play the NFC West, and that includes San Francisco, the Rams, and then they got the Cardinals at the end of the year when the Cardinals were out of it. This year, they have to play the AFC West and the improving NFC South. Not an easy game amongst those 8 games. They play Tennessee in one of their field games. I think Tennessee is going to win their division. They go ahead and play Baltimore. It's just a nightmare across the board where they have 10 games outside a division. The easiest games against the Chargers, and the Chargers are like almost a 500 team. Miami's going to be better this year. They're going to have a worse record.
Now, you've taught me that one of your favorite wise guys tactics as far as betting under season win totals is finding that team that has that great disparity between strength of schedule. Say, for instance, easy schedule last year, this year much harder. That's a great factor for you this time of year.
And Miami is number 1 in the NFL in a stat you don't want. If you are a fan of the team, their strength of schedule delta has gotten that much more difficult last year versus this year. And frankly, this is one that even though I wanted to back up the truck and play under 8.5 and make it a huge bet, I'm still going to play it because it literally seems to win every year.
All right, Fez, let's make it official.
Let's make it official. Miami under 7.5 wins. Miami is overrated based upon their 10-6 record last year. They went 8-2 in close games. They were much more like a 500 team in 2016. And Miami faces a far more difficult schedule in 2017. They do not have one easy non-division game. You add it up, under 7.5 for the Dolphins. Fez Math likes it. More videos at pregame.com.